I'm going to start with a story that probably sounds familiar to a lot of you. You scroll through the endless sea of electric guitars on Amazon, you see that flashy photo of a red-finished Tele, the description says noiseless single-coil pickups, and you're suddenly picturing yourself on a tiny balcony, nailing that clean tone without any hum. Then the guitar arrives, you plug it in, and the first thing you notice is that the pickup noise is still there, or the neck feels a little off-center, or the tone just doesn't sit where you expected it to in your mix. It's that moment of frustration where you wonder if you've wasted money on a pretty-looking instrument that doesn't actually solve the problem you were trying to fix. That's why I'm doing this deep dive, so you can avoid that disappointment before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the category you're dealing with: entry to mid-level solid-body electric guitars that promise both classic Fender vibes and a modern twist. The Shiflett Cleaver Telecaster Deluxe in Dakota Red sits right in the sweet spot between a beginner's first guitar and a professional's secondary road-ready instrument. The real question isn't just does it look good, but does it hold up when you're playing at home, jamming in a garage, or stepping on stage? That's the lens I used while pulling together this review, scanning through the 708 5-star ratings, looking at the few detailed buyer comments on forums, and cross-checking the specs against what actual players need day-to-day. Who should buy this? If you're a player who loves the classic Telecaster twang but has been annoyed by the 60cm hum that traditional single-coil pickups bring, the Noiseless label is the first thing that will catch your eye. The Cleaver model houses two noiseless single-coil pickups that claim to keep that iconic bite while killing the background hiss. In practice, players who have swapped their old Strat or Tele for this model report that the hum is dramatically reduced when they crank the amp to 11 for bluesy lead lines or for surf rock clean licks. If you're the sort of musician who plays in a band that runs on small venues, coffee houses, local bars, or backyard parties, the ability to dial in a clean channel without constantly battling interference is a genuine time saver. Another practical strength is the Alder body paired with a maple neck and rosewood fingerboard. Alder is known for its balanced resonance. You get a smooth low end without the heaviness of a mahogany body. The maple neck gives a bright snap that complements the Tele's traditional sound, while the rosewood fingerboard adds a subtle warmth that makes chord voicings feel more rounded. In real-world terms, this means that if you switch from a clean rhythm part to a bright lead lick, the transition feels natural rather than a jarring shift in tone. Now, let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The first thing many reviewers mention, even if not in a headline-style fashion, is the weight. At about 7.5 pounds, the guitar sits comfortably on a strap for an average-sized player, but taller or slimmer players may find it a bit front-heavy after an hour of gigging. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's a factor you'll notice on the road. Also, while the noiseless pickups do cut down on hum, they can sometimes sound a touch thin when you're digging for that classic, full-bodied Tele crunch. If you're a player who thrives on the thick, overdriven Tele tone that's become a staple in rock and country, you may need to push a little harder on the amp or consider a pedal to add mids. That's a nuance that doesn't appear on the product sheet but shows up when you actually jam through a full set. Value for money is where this guitar earns its high rating. The price point lands just above the entry-level market, but you're getting a Fender-branded instrument with a signature artist's name attached. Chris Shiflett, former guitarist for Foo Fighters. The build quality of the Alder body and maple neck is comparable to the more expensive American-made Telecasters, and the inclusion of the noiseless pickups at this price tier is relatively rare. For someone who wants a reliable stage instrument without splurging on a custom shop model, the Cleaver Tele offers a lot of the same tonal flexibility you'd expect from higher-end models, minus the custom shop price tag. Who should skip this? If you're a player whose sound relies heavily on vintage, raw single-coil character, think old-school blues or classic country where that inherent hum adds a certain warmth, then the noiseless circuit may actually dampen the vibe you love. Likewise, if you are short-handed or have a smaller frame, the scale length and neck profile might feel a bit cumbersome. The Tele's 25.5-inch scale is standard, but those with a tiny hand might prefer a shorter scale like a Gibson SG or a Fender Mustang for more comfortable fret access. Finally, if you're looking for a guitar that comes